Srivasadi Gaura. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on chapter 2, text 10. Does anyone want to read the Sanskrit?
I can try. Ayam tu lokapalanam yashadhan nirpatrapa saddhi acharita pantha yena stabdhena dushitaha.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shiva has, so this is Daksha speaking. And he is saying that he wants to tell the demigods about Lord Shiva. Shiva has spoiled the name and fame of the governors of the universe and has polluted the path of gentle manners. Because he's shameless, he does not know how to act. Daksh wanted to impress upon the minds of all the great sages assembled in that meeting that Shiva, being one of the demigods, had ruined the good reputations of all the demigods by his unmannerly behavior. The words used against Lord Shiva by Daksh can be also understood in a different way, in a good sense. For example, he stated that Shiva is Yashogna, which means one who spoils name and fame. So, this can also be interpreted to mean that he was so famous that his fame killed all other fame. So, what happens is many times that someone wants to insult a great personality or insult Krishna even. But the words they use, the acharyas explain us that they actually want to insult, but the words they use sometimes can also mean as a great, to glorify their greatness. So here, Yashogna, the meaning is one who spoils the name and fame. The acharyas are saying that also can be said that he was so famous that his fame killed all other fame. You know, when there is a degree of fame. So someone may be famous among family members, someone will be famous among their community, someone famous among the nation, someone will be famous internationally in the whole planet. Now, someone will be famous entire universe. So Lord Shiva, he's very famous. You know, even we know about Lord Shiva. So what can be said about his fame? Again, Daksh used the word nirapatrapa, which can also be used in two senses. One sense is one who's stunted, and another sense is one who is the maintainer of persons who have no other shelter. So nirapatrapa means stunted. Also, the one who maintains others who have no shelter. Generally, Lord Shiva is known as the Lord of the Bhutanath, or lower grade of living creatures. They take shelter of Lord Shiva because he's very kind to everyone and is very quickly satisfied. Therefore, he's called Ashutosh. You know, everyone, he's very favorite among a lot of people, Lord Shiva. Why? Because we know, we will try to please Lord Shiva, we'll do some vrat, and Lord Shiva will be easily pleased, and my desire will be fulfilled. So he's called Ashutosh. To such men who cannot approach other demigods or Vishnu, Lord Shiva gives shelter. Therefore, the word Nirapatrapa can be used in that sense. So Daksh is wanting to insult Lord Shiva, but his words can also be used to glorify Lord Shiva. Does anyone want to try to read the Sanskrit?
Yeah, I'll try. Shame shishyatam prapto yen me duhitur agrahit panim vipragni mukhatha savitriya eva sadhuvat.
He has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter, in the presence of fire and brahmanas. He has married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri and has pretended to be just like an honest person. Daksha's statement that Lord Shiva pretended to be an honest person means that Lord Shiva was dishonest because, in spite of accepting the position of Daksha's son-in-law, he was not respectful to Daksha. So Daksha has been really felt insulted. He's really feeling insulted that here is my son-in-law and he's not getting up in respect. Everyone else got up and my son-in-law is not gotten up. So does someone want to try reading this?
I can read.
Okay.
गृहीत्वा मृगशावाक्ष्यः पाणिं मर्कटलोचनः प्रत्युत्थानाभिवादार्हे वाच्याप्यकृतनोचितम्.
He has eyes like a monkey's, yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like those of a deer calf. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words, because Brahmaji did not get up, but at least he welcomed him. But Lord Shiva has not said anything and he is not stood up. So, Lupta Kriyaya Shuchaye Manine Bhinnase Tave Anichan Api Adambalam Sudrayevo Shatim Giram. I had no desire to give my daughter to this person who has broken all rules of civility. Because of not observing the required rules and regulations, he is impure. But I was obliged to hand over my daughter to him, just as one teaches the messages of the Veda to a Shudra. We can see that Daksha was not at all happy that Sati has married Lord Shiva. A Shudra is forbidden to take lessons from the Vedas because a Shudra, due to his unclean habits, is not worthy to hear such instructions. Now, what shall we do? In Srimad Bhagavatam says, everyone born in Kali Yuga is born a Shudra. And here we are hearing the commentary of the Vedas, the natural commentary of the Vedas, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are hearing from the pure devotees. We are born a Shudra, but doesn't mean we have to remain a Shudra. We can upgrade ourselves. We can hear from the devotees, because Bhagavad Gita, this is devotional service and it is not dependent on any material qualification. It's not dependent on our birth. This restriction that unless one has required the Brahmanical qualifications, one should not read the Vedic literatures is like the restriction that a law student should not enter a law college unless he has been graduated from all lower grades. According to the estimation of Daksh, Shiva was unclean in habits and not worthy to have the hand of his daughter Sati, who was so enlightened, beautiful, and chaste. So this also means that we should not unnecessarily try to read the Vedas, because we won't be able to understand it. But we read the Bhakti Shastras, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitaniya Caritamta, Nectar of Devotion. We read that because we are hearing from the devotees. So they are giving us the qualification to read them. The word used in this connection is Vinasetave, which refers to one who has broken all the regulations for good behavior by not following the Vedic principles. In other words, according to Daksh, the entire transaction of the marriage of his daughter with Shiva was not in order. So he's saying, my daughter is beautiful, she's enlightened, and she's chaste. And Shiva, who's the Shiva? He has no good qualities at all. He's impure, he's not following the regulative principles. So he doesn't like him at all. Pretavasheshu ghoreshu preter bhutaganir vritaha atati unmattavan nagno vyukta kesho hasan ruddan chita bhasma kritasnanaha pretashran rasti bhushanaha Shiva Padesho hi Ashivo Mato Matagya Jana Priyaha Pati Pramatha Nathanam Tamo Matra Makat Manam. He lives in filthy places like crematoriums, and his companions are the ghosts and demons. Naked like a madman, sometimes laughing and sometimes crying. He smears crematorium ashes all over his body. He does not bathe regularly, and he ornaments his body with a garland of skulls and bones. Therefore, only in name he is Shiva or auspicious. Actually, he is the most mad and inauspicious creature. Thus, he is very dear to crazy beings in the gross mode of ignorance, and he is their leader. We can see how Daksha is so irritated at Lord Shiva that he is pointing out, he's complaining about everything, how he looks, he's complaining about his followers. Those who do not regularly bathe are supposed to be in association with ghosts and crazy creatures. Lord Shiva appeared to be like that, but his name Shiva is actually fitting, for he's very kind to persons who are in the darkness of the mode of ignorance, such as unclean drunkards who do not regularly bathe. Lord Shiva is so kind that he gives shelter to such creatures and gradually elevates them to spiritual consciousness. So the idea is, if one can really take shelter of Lord Shiva, not imitate him. What mistake we do is we try to imitate Lord Shiva and not follow his instructions. Lord Shiva, we heard, he's the spiritual master of everyone, because he's teaching us all how to engage in devotional service to Krishna. But instead of following his instructions, what we do is we try to imitate him. Oh, Lord Shiva is taking intoxication. I'm going to take intoxication. I will smoke all the intoxicants to imitate Lord Shiva. Or I'll keep long matted hair. I won't shower. I will smear ashes over my body. But that is not taking shelter of Lord Shiva. That is simply merely a cheap imitation. Although it is very difficult to raise such creatures to spiritual understanding, Lord Shiva takes charge of them, and therefore, as stated in the Vedas, Lord Shiva is all auspicious. So if one is in an unauspicious position, ghosts, spirits, drunkards, if someone really takes shelter of Lord Shiva is so kind that he gives protection to them. So we can see Lord Caitanya, he came 500 years ago and he gave Krishna Prema to Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai, they were drunkards, womanizers. We were just hearing yesterday in Caitaniya Caritamta that. And we also heard that 500 years ago, there was only two brothers, Jagai and Madai. Now in Kali Yuga, we are all, now in this present day and age, we are all Jagai and Madais. So Lord Chaitanya, by his mercy, we are chanting the holy name. Thus, by his association, even such fallen souls can be elevated. Sometimes it is seen that great personalities meet with fallen souls, not for any personal interest, but for the benefit of those souls. In the creation of the Lord, there are different kinds of living creatures. Some of them are in the mode of goodness, some are in the mode of passion, and some are in the mode of ignorance. So the pure devotees, the devotees of the Lord, they go and meet the other people not to gain anything from them, but they want to give them Krishna consciousness. That's the reason they have come to meet the people. You know, we may go to meet someone because we have some personal interest, but the pure devotees, they don't have any personal interest. Their desire is to give Krishna consciousness. Some of them are in the mode of goodness, some are in the mode of passion, and some are in the mode of ignorance. Lord Vishnu takes charge of persons who are advanced, Krishna conscious Vaishnavas, and Lord Brahma takes charge of persons who are very much attached to material activities. But Lord Shiva is so kind that he takes charge of persons who are in gross ignorance and whose behavior is lower than that of the animals. Therefore, Lord Shiva is especially called auspicious. So Lord Shiva, of course, he's worthy of our highest respect. Vaishnavam Yathas Shambhu. He is the greatest of the Vaishnavas. And we can approach him and pray to him to help us, give us pure devotional service to Krishna. As he is a pure devotee of Krishna, we can pray to him to give us also pure devotion for Krishna. And Lord Shiva is happier to give us this benediction rather than when we ask him for some material benefit. Because why? Because he is a pure devotee also. So he wants everyone to experience the bliss, the happiness that he is feeling. Does anyone want to read this verse?
Try. Tasme unmadnathaya nashtasauchaya druride dattavata maya sadhvi chodite parameshthina.
On the request of Lord Brahma, I handed over my chaste daughter to him. Although he is devoid of all cleanliness and his heart is filled with nasty things. It is the duty of parents to hand over their daughters to suitable persons just befitting their family tradition in cleanliness, gentle behavior, wealth, social position, etc. We just finished reading the pastime of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. How Devahuti and Kardama Muni were very suited for a match. They were very suited to be husband and wife. Their character, their qualities, they all were very compatible. The Daksha was, although Kardama Muni was a sage, a sadhu, and Devahuti is the princess, the daughter of the king of the world, but the character was very, very compatible. Daksh was repentant that on the request of Brahma, who was his father, he had handed over his daughter to a person who, according to his calculation, was nasty. He was so angry that he did not acknowledge that the request was from his father. Instead, he referred to Brahma as Parmeshthi, the supreme teacher in the universe. Because of his temperament of gross anger, he was not even prepared to accept Brahma as his father. Now, when we are angry, we might say some very nasty things, and we may repent it later. Sometimes we may repent, sometimes we may not repent, but this is what anger does to us. It brings us in the mode of ignorance, and then we start saying things. Here, Daksha is saying, well, he gave his daughter in marriage to Shiva because Brahma told him, and now he's not even saying my father Brahma, he's calling him as Parameshthi. In other words, he accused even Brahma of being less intelligent because he had advised Daksha to hand over his beautiful daughter to such a nasty fellow. In anger, one forgets everything, and thus Daksha, in anger, not only accused the great Lord Shiva, but criticized his own father, Lord Brahma, for his not very astute advice that Daksha hand over his daughter to Lord Shiva. So in anger, Daksha has become accusatory, he's become critical, he's fault finding in Lord Shiva, faults that don't exist. He's fault finding.
Sorry, but just wanted to say that I've heard this pastime a lot of times, but it is such, when we are reading, it is so much in detail, like how Daksh, who was such a great Prajapati, how nice words he said at Kardamba Muni time, like when he was offering the daughter to Kardamba Muni, how humble, how nice he was, and how the things, like I have never read this. This is quite heavy, like how he has so much negativity for Lord Shiva. Like,
but I don't remember him speaking to Kardama Muni. He did, is it?
Yeah, he
or
took
you
his
mean
daughter.
because he's his brother?
No.
You mean that time?
No, Kardam, when he went to give Dev Ahuti.
Devahuti is Swayambhuva Manu's daughter.
Oh, and
That
he is
was
Daksha, the
Swayambhuva Manu.
Prajapati. Okay, okay. Oh yeah,
This is
that's why I
Daksh.
was so confused that he was so humble and he was so nice. Then suddenly, like, the character can't be so differentiated. Like it couldn't
Yeah.
be that. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
So brother of
Brother. Yeah. Okay.
brother of Swayambhuva Manu.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, so
Brahmaji is the father of them all.
yeah. So brother could be, yeah. Brother is okay. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, I was really, imagining that how he could be so okay. So, but
Yeah, that's
Swayambhu
okay.
Manu had, okay, so she is the daughter of Swayambhu Manu. Devahuti was the daughter, and Sati is the daughter of Devahuti, the 19 daughters, one of the 19. No.
No. Sati
No.
is the daughter of Daksha.
Daksha, right?
Daksha had
Okay.
16 daughters.
16 daughters, yes. Okay.
Yeah, 13 daughters he gave to, I forgot who he gave to, and then
Dharma.
the 16, I'm sorry?
Dharma.
Dharma.
Yeah.
Dharma, thank you. Yes, thank you. And then the youngest daughter, Sati, he is given to
To
Lord
Shiva,
Shiva.
Lord Shiva. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
all right.
Really,
That's all right. We all get confused with so many
yeah,
names.
because I was imagining him to be Swayambhu Manu. Yeah.
No,
so-
but he didn't want to give. I think Sati wanted, not Shiva.
Sati wanted Lord Shiva, yes.
Shiva, yeah.
And Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma wanted this
Hmm.
match
Yes.
to happen.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, but Dakshna didn't want to give. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you. Mm.
Yeah, because it
Does
seems
anyone-
like from the beginning, it seems so much negativity for him because
Yes.
he's reciting everything from the beginning that I didn't want it. So this is quite a lot of negativity and
Yeah,
anger.
imagine
Yeah.
he's seeing the Lord Shiva's
Mm.
eyes like monkey.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe this was so. I said that we have heard this pastime in a lot of
Yeah,
kathas,
yeah,
but
in
this is
general.
quite,
Yeah.
but not, they never mentioned like
Okay.
these kind of adjectives for
Mm.
Lord Shiva that he could describe him in such a way. And
Yeah.
he could, this is.
So we
So
can
it's
see
already
that
like
how
from beginning. Yeah, already he didn't like him. So that,
Yeah.
built up and made it, more like, he got, and he saw that Lord Shiva didn't even get up, to give his respect. Father.
Yeah, so we can see, how when we are envious and when we are angry, we can say such nasty things,
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, here, yes, here Daksha is saying this for Lord Shiva, but we may be also guilty of such things.
Yes.
That the other person may not have any fault, but because in our anger or out of our envy, we may project our faults onto him.
Mm. And just one thing more, you mentioned Jadai and Madai. I think we are worse than Jadai and Madai. We are worst. At least they knew they were bad, but we pretend to be good, though we are so bad, and we pretend that, oh, I'm so nice, but we are not. So I think we are worse than Jadai and Madai also. At least they accepted that they were bad, but we are not ready to accept that I'm bad. Anyhow, I'm talking about myself that I'll go out of the way to prove I'm the best, but I'm not. So, I think I'm worse than Jadai and Madai. They were still very, very humble and very nice people because they knew they were
true.
bad.
True, many of us are like that. So
Yeah.
true. We go out of our way to impress, put on an image,
Yes.
which may
Yeah,
be
we
really
are
contrary.
hypocrites, I feel.
Yeah, the biggest hypocrites. But at least they were good. I mean, they never went out of their way to show that I'm good. They were bad and they did the worst things, but they were bad. But we are the worst creatures of Kali Yuga.
Because we pretend to
we can
be.
pray to
Yes.
Lord Chaitanya. I'm sorry.
I said
Sneha
we
was saying
pretend. Yeah, I said we pretend to be.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
but
true. So
times.
we can pray
Yeah.
to Lord Chaitanya. You saved Jaga and Madai. They were much better than me. So kindly save me too. Can pray to Lord Chaitanya, then take deeper shelter of him. He's very kind. Yeah, true. I do agree that we are hypocrites. Many of us, I would say, are hypocrites and pretenders. We just need to, pray to Lord Shiva for his mercy. I'm sorry, to Lord Chaitanya for his mercy. So we'll stop here for today. Did you want to add anything or comment anything else? Did anyone want to say anything else? No, then Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Krishna.